What's good, fam? Welcome to Big Faces Worldwide, where we talking nothing but this boxing, man. Hey, man, listen, first off, I want to welcome everybody to the channel. And like I always say, fam, if you're new here, I want you to be here. So think about hitting that subscribe button as we stay deep into this boxing conversation, man. Now, first off, I want to tell everybody, man, yeah, the stream kind of messing up, man. But back to what I was saying. When this Corona first hit, COVID-19 first hit, man, there was people who, they ain't really believe that this thing was real, man. People like Terrence Crawford, other people didn't believe that this thing was real, man. But hopefully now that with all the deaths and everything, man, people understand that this COVID-19 is the real deal. Don't sleep on it. Protect yourself. Make sure you got your mask on, your gloves on. Stay away from people. And just be mindful of where you at and what you're doing. Now about this boxing thing, man. Earl Spence Jr., man, he was on the All the Smoke podcast with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. And I gotta say, honestly, man, it was the most how can I say this, relaxed I've seen Earl Spence in the interview, man. He was cool, calm, and collected. He was, just letting the answers to the questions just flow. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't nothing rehearsed. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes same old basic answers to the questions, you know what I'm saying? One word answers and shit like that, man. But Earl Spence surprised me, man. He actually opened up and he let us in. He let us into what was going on in his camp, what was going on in his life. He talked about the accident, man, and and they asked Spence, well, what did you learn after this accident, man? And Earl Spence said the best thing that I think a young man in his predicament could have said, man. He says, I learned not to take nothing for granted. You know what I'm saying? I gotta applaud him for that, man, because as a young inner city black kid, man, sometimes when we start making money, sometimes when we start gaining respect from our peers or whatever, man, and life becomes easier for us. You know what I mean? Life becomes easy. Everybody's saying yes to everything you say, and people laughing at jokes that ain't really funny, and you know what I mean, shit like that. You can go anywhere, you can buy anything, you can do anything you want to do. You start to feeling a sense of entitlement. You start to feeling kind of invincible. You know what I'm saying? And this is what Earl Spence said that he was feeling, man. He was feeling himself. He was on a high. You understand me? He said he felt like he was on a path to destruction. And you could see it. You know what I mean? You could see it. There were rumblings behind the scenes, man. Earl's drinking too much. Earl liked to drink. You know what I mean? And Nate Jones, a regular, he was a regular in the Floyd Mayweather camp, man. He said one thing that, you know, I thought was real telling, man. It was an interview, I believe it was with Laugh at First Sight, man. I haven't seen Jason in a while, man. I don't know if he's still doing videos or not, man. But he was on Laugh at First Sight, and he was talking about, hearing that Earl drinks, that he liked that bottle, man. And he was just saying how one day it would show up in the ring. And that's what Earl was talking about when he was talking about the Mikey Garcia fight and the Shawn Porter fight. Blowing up in weight to 190 something pounds. Trying to come back down to 147. That's a lot of weight. That's over 40 pounds that you got to come down in 8 or 10 weeks. So basically, you're spending your whole damn camp trying to lose weight. You know what I mean? And Earl acknowledged that. You know what I'm saying? And he said that, in the Mikey fight, he was in a sauna with a sweatsuit on, or a hoodie on, and, trying to get it off the day of the fight. And, he was saying that he didn't even sweat until an hour had passed. Can you imagine being in a sauna? I don't know, for those of you who've been in a sauna, can you imagine being in a sauna for an hour? with sweatsuits and hoodies and shit on, and you ain't sweat for a whole hour? Can you imagine how exhausting and how hot in that motherfucker is? It's suspense, man. He said he was in there for an hour, and then he started sweating, man. You understand what I'm saying? So we didn't see the power that we normally see from Spence in that Mikey Garcia fight. Everybody talk about Spence couldn't knock little Mikey out. Spence couldn't drop little Mikey. There was a reason behind that. You know what I'm saying? There was a reason behind that. And now we know the reason, man. I'm sure Mikey Garcia ain't going to agree with the reason, but I could see it. You know what I mean? I could see it because I'm used to seeing Earl Spence go in there and punish dudes, break dudes down like Kell Brook, break Lamont Peterson down. You understand? Knock Leonard Bundu out. You know what I mean? The shots that he was catching Mikey Garcia with, man, Mikey Garcia should have been out, man. You know what I mean? Should have been served up on a platter. But because Earl, you know what I mean, didn't have it in him, he didn't have the best camp, you know what I mean, spent his camp trying to make weight. He didn't have it in him, man. He didn't have it in him to go in there and hurt a fighter who was coming up, a couple weight divisions. You understand what I'm saying? Same thing in the Sean Porter fight. Earl wasn't as sharp as he usually is. You know what I mean? Them punches wasn't flowing as crisp and clean as they usually do. You know what I mean? Now, credit to Sean Porter. He came to fight. You know what I mean? He came to throw them knuckles. But at the same time, it wasn't the same Earl Spence that we used to seeing because he spent most of his camp making weight, coming down from 190 something pounds to 147. Can you imagine that? That's crazy, man. That's crazy. And the still go in there and come out with the victory in both instances shows the caliber of fighter of Earl Spence Jr. Man, he's lucky to be able to come out with W's in those fights, man, because other fighters have not been so fortunate who have taken their career and taken their fight game for granted. You know what I'm saying? But Earl, he was blessed to still have enough skills, to still have enough will to pull off the victory, man. And shouts out to him for doing so. Man, these motherfuckers. See if I can get in here real quick. Yeah, I should be able to get in here. Earl, man. Earl seems now that he seems real focused. You know what I mean? He knows what he did, and he knows what he got to do. And the first thing that's Boxing Brain. What's up with your fam? Salute to you, man. Thank you for dropping through. This is a quick little live, man. I want to just get on here and talk some shit real quick, man, about that Spence interview. The first thing to changing shit is admitting it. You know what I mean? So Earl, he admitted that he know what was wrong. He admitted that he was definitely on a path of destruction. He admitted that, he wasn't doing what he's supposed to do, wasn't living the boxer's lifestyle. Thus you see these pictures out with the videos and shit with him with Yella Beezy and at the club dancing, and you know what I mean? When you're a fighter at the level that Earl Spence is at, you know what I mean? Earl Spence is at the top of the top, man. You know what I mean? He was on the rise. And hopefully he still will be on the rise. You know what I'm saying? So Earl, he got to watch who's he around. You know what I mean? Keep away from those dudes who want to take you out every night, man, who want to encourage you to drink and do all them things, man. Know when you're an athlete. You know what I'm saying? When you're in a position of power, you got to surround yourself with those people who have your best interests at heart. You know what I mean? You want to surround, if you're in the streets, you don't want to surround, if you're in the streets making money, you don't want to surround yourself with people who ain't got no money. You know what I mean? All yes men. You want to surround yourself with people who making money like you, so y'all can build off of each other's energy. So you know what I mean? One of y'all fall, then you can lean on the next man. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Earl Spence, man. You don't want to be hanging out with these rappers and these dudes out there hanging in the clubs and drinking and all that shit. No, you want to hang out with like-minded people, man. People who are focused on what it is they're doing. You know what I mean? You want to be around people who's going to help you to better your career. You know what I'm saying? To tell you, nah, man, we ain't doing that. You got to train. You got to get up and train in the morning. We got to run tonight. You know what I mean? Who want to remind you of them things when you slipping? You need somebody to help you to pick you up. You don't want the person to let you fall. You know what I'm saying? Boxing Brain says that's why Bud don't want to fight Spence yet. He want him to. Damn, it went away real quick, man. But I get what you're saying, and a lot of people was taking Bud's comments out of context. You know what I mean? Bud wasn't saying he don't want to fight Spence next because of anything but that he want to make sure Spence is Spence. You know what I mean? Because if he beat him up real bad and knocks Spence out, then he don't want no excuses. The first thing they'll say is Spence wasn't himself. It was the car wreck. So Boogeyman Bud wants Spence to go in there and take a tune-up fight. You know what I mean? See where he's at. You know what I mean? See if he's the same Spence, and then if he is, then he'll get in there with him. You know what I mean? Then he'll rumble him because that means that he can get the credit that he's looking for, the credit that he deserves, man. That's Boogeyman Bud's status, man. You know what I'm saying? But like Earl said on the podcast, he said him and Bud FaceTime. You know what I'm saying? They FaceTime. They talked about it. The fight going to happen. They waiting for the fight to get big enough. I even think I heard Spence say like Floyd and Manny did. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Earl, no disrespect to Bud, but Earl ain't no Floyd and Bud ain't no Manny. They don't bring the fanfare, they don't bring the crowd like them two did, man. You know what I'm saying? Floyd and Manny were massive superstars. And if Earl Spence and Terence Crawford are waiting for the fight to be built up as big as Manny and Floyd, they ain't never going to fight, fam. They ain't never going to fight because they're never going to be as big as Floyd and Manny Pacquiao, at least in the near future. Now, Terence Crawford, he'll be 33 this year. You know what I'm saying? This is the time when your career starts slowing down as a boxer. You know what I mean? You start to go on that decline. Father Time is undefeated. Father Time is coming. You know what I'm saying? And we want to see this fight when them two is in their prime. You know what I mean? Not when Bud's 34, 35. It's like Triple G. It was sad that we had to wait. You know what I mean? Triple G spent all them years, man, of a lot of middleweights ducking him. A lot of middleweights didn't want to fight him. And we had to wait till he was 34 or 35 to see him in there with an elite fighter to see what he got. You know what I'm saying? And by that time, we don't really know what he had because he was 34, 35. And I believe he was out of his prime. You know what I'm saying? It would be a shame if that same thing happened to Boogeyman Bud. You know what I mean? It would be a shame if we didn't get the Earl Spence fight until Bud was 34, 35 years old, man. You know what I'm saying? When we know that he's not at his best. You know what I mean? We want to fight when both of them in their prime, man. That fight needs to happen no later than next year. They bet not wait too long. If you beat the best, the fans will support. Exactly, fam. The fans is gonna support it, no doubt about it. You know what I mean? Dope Action. What's up with you, fam? Salute to you, man. Salute to you. Appreciate that, man. But this fight between Bud and Spence, I believe it will happen next year. You know what I mean? If none of them lose, you know what I mean, and it become another casualty of marinating going wrong, and none of them lose, I think we'll get that fight next year. But as far as this year, I don't think we're gonna get any significant fights this year. We might as well hang it up. 2020 was a dud. 2020, the COVID-19 shut everything down, man. We may get some fights, some decent fights, but as far as epic fights, elite versus elite, the best versus the best, we ain't gonna get that this year. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to get it. Because they're not going to put on those type of shows without crowds. You know what I'm saying? They're the big fights that make several million dollars gates. They're not going to charge that to the game, man. Over this COVID-19. But them lesser fights who, the gate ain't really nothing, maybe like a couple 100,000, maybe 1 million, you know what I'm saying? Then they might let that go. But them bigger fights, we ain't going to see that, fam. We're not seeing that until next year, and that's just it. But I'm real happy that Earl Spence, he recognized that the way he was living wasn't cool for excuse me, wasn't cool for the life that he want to live, and that is the boxer's lifestyle. It wasn't cool for the goals that he set for himself, man. And hopefully he sticks to his word and make the corrections that he need to make, man, and focuses 100% on boxing. He don't blow up to 190 something pounds no more. He says he's at about a buck 60, which is really good. You know what I mean? Because trying to lose uh, 40 something pounds. You know what I mean? In a camp, that just ain't gonna get it, man. You're not gonna be at your best. You want to spend your camp sharpening your tools, man. Cleaning your tools up. Making sure everything is polished and shining and ready to go. Working on all cylinders, making sure everything is oiled. You understand what I'm saying? But when you spend your time losing weight, then I mean, you get into the ring. You haven't worked on your game plan. You worked on losing weight. So I think Earl will be all right, man, if he what I mean, stick to his word. And I'm interested to see it. You understand what I'm saying? Hopefully they get it right. Hopefully Bob Arum and Al Heyman, they can continue to somewhat get along so they could do this thing, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. But listen, man, I just wanted to get on here real quick, talk to the fam. I appreciate everybody sliding through. Don't forget to hit the like button, man, if you're watching this live or you're watching this on the playback. I appreciate it. If you're on social media, check me out on Twitter, Instagram, at Big Faces Worldwide, all one word. But in the meantime and in between time, stay blessed, fam, and keep on supporting this sport that we love called boxing. Peace. I holla back. Now, how you turn this motherfucker off?